CM Punk and his dog Larry were shown arriving at the start of Raw with a lot of other people, which means as I stand here before you today, very jet-lagged, because I literally landed from Texas around about 1 hour ago, Larry the dog is officially part of wrestling lore. Sound good, elders? Great. Also, hello my friends, and welcome to Ups and Downs. My name is Simon Miller, and it's the only wrestling review show you need. That's right, if you're watching other wrestling review shows, they don't take their finger and wiggle it around, whereas I am going to do some wiggling jiggling. We did just have a big old Monday Night Raw. Let's up those down. I think this week's Raw kind of did start weird, because we did have Jey Uso in the crowd, and he was with his fans, he was with his son, we had a big old video of people going, oh my gosh, Jey Uso is the brand new Intercontinental Champion. And look, it's been flubbing fantastic, it's made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. While this segment was perfectly fine, I think at one point Jey may have forgotten what he wanted to say. I was just like looking out there, and he was taking it in, he was taking it in. Taking it in. That's like, Jey, man, you could stand there for 3 hours as far as I'm concerned. I love you so much. But maybe say something. He eventually did start yapping though, and it was so damn good because he talked about his family and how they've always supported him and all the hard times he's been through. Especially because look at the likes of Roman Reigns. He made it hard, and being a twin made it hard, and being in a tag team kind of made it hard, but he believed in himself, and he listened to his mum, which we should all do. And now he is the Intercontinental Champion. This is when Braun Breaker interrupted. And if you on your bingo card had Braun will arrive in the ring, and he will be super politeful and super respectful, then these two will shake hands, and Braun Breaker will leave, but you would have been 100% correct. Now I don't mind this because there was a tease for later, and also, who was booing Braun Breaker? Nobody. You may have thought they were booing or saying boo-earns, but they were going woof, 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 woof. They are making noises like a dog. For some reason, we have decided that he is a dog. It's perfectly fine, it's pro wrestling. We're allowed to do that. But sometimes, I just like nice things. I'm so happy that Jey Uso is the Intercontinental Champion. And because we kind of have moved Braun over here, and I guess he could swerve us and come back and screw over Uso, well, it means we can have a brand new contender when somebody press start on Controller 2. Getting it up. We then saw the Judgment Day hanging out, and Liv Morgan and Mysterio were all like, look at our lowrider. When Finn Balor called them and said, oh, I won't be there for a while, my friends, because I'm traveling. Now, one, I have no idea what happened to his accent, but I thought this was weird at first. Turned out that he did me. When we got to Xavier Woods versus Rey Mysterio, and I've got to tell you, man, as of late, say over the last 6 months, WWE has been so damn good with their finishes, and they actually did this on SmackDown too. Due to a stupid logistical nightmare, I had to miss SmackDown, which made me very sad in my face. But I love what they did with Cody, and I love what they did with Rey here. Because essentially Rey and Woods were having a perfectly fine match. They were going at it when it looked like we were going to get a reverse DDT, but instead, Xavier Woods ripped the mask off of Rey Mysterio. Now listen, you may not know this about Rey, but when he is revealed face-wise, he basically feels naked, and he totally forgot he was in a wrestling match. Now Xavier, I suppose, had a moment where he was like, what do I do? But he decided to hit the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up, which of course he made its own, because he calls it the backwards, and he beat him for the 1, 2, 3. So talk about conflicting emotions, because over here, you could argue that's the biggest win of Xavier Woods' over career, but over here, well, he kind of screwed him over. And the crowd booed this as well, and Woods kind of didn't know what to do, and Rey was like, well, aren't you despicable? Although Rey should probably be on cloud 9, because earlier he had hit a dive, and he had been hit with the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break, and he had survived. So if you ever thought that Rey Mysterio is a legend, well, it's right there. And this was only step 1, or I guess step 42, in the New Day story. And I think we're telling this very well. Speaking of stories, we then went to this one where there kind of is no story. And I know I go on about it every single week, but until WWE changed it, what else am I meant to do? Because the Pure Fusion Collective went up to Lyra Valkyria and were like, do you like our name? Because we really do, and definitely no one ever says otherwise. And because Lyra was all by herself, because Lena Vega and Natty aren't there this week, well, Sonya was basically like, we are going to kill you. So I'm sorry that you're going to have to endure that. Actually, that's not what she did, because she insinuated that Shayna Baszler may bite her, and that Sonya is in control of that. So they have a weird relationship when we tease the Viking Raiders coming back again. But I do believe they may actually be going back to the War Raiders name, or whatever they used to be called. I've forgotten now, because I'm stupid. Do that. This is when we cut to Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Kofi was like, how could you do that, man? And Woods was like, I'd never do that to Rey Mysterio. I'm like his biggest fan. You may as well call me Stan. When Kofi looked like he popped his bubble. He was like, okay, well listen, I do support you, and I have great news. I talked to Jey Uso and he offered me an Intercontinental title shot. Xavier Woods was like, he was at somebody else's birthday party. He was like, well, that's really great, but I'd much rather it was my birthday. When Kofi did surprise him and said, no, brah, I said that you should get the shot. I tell you, Xavier Woods was actually doing the dance of joy. What I really love too is that obviously Woods hasn't gone full heel yet, but here he said the magic words, I think I can beat Jey Uso, and that's all wrestling is about. Even if you want to do good guy versus good guy, you should believe in yourself and you could win. So you just know the bad things are coming, and we have a part 3 later. So I'm just giving this a round of applause. This is bloody good New Day stuff. It was then Zoey Stark versus Lyra Valkyria. And listen, I want to make it very clear because people don't listen to me, or they just choose not to hear it in their earlobes. Everybody involved in this is a super duper good talent, and I'm a big fan of all of them, especially Zoey Stark. We stand her on this channel. But it just is the same thing every single week. First of all, where the hell has Lyra Valkyria been? That wasn't really talked about. And at one point, she did have this match won, but the Pure Fusion Collective were basically shouting at the referee, hey, do you like her name? They're like, no, nobody likes your name. It's really silly Billy. When you weren't looking at what was going on, so Sonya Deville just kneed Lyra right in the face, and Zoey hit the Z360, 1, 2, 3. Even better than this, the way that Valkyria was going to win was with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment. And right after this, the bad guys were going to beat her up when out came Kaden Carter and Katana Chance to chase them away. Now listen, maybe I missed something here, I am stupid, but it turns out the reason we haven't seen them in ages is because one of them has a broken nose. I don't think that ever got mentioned on commentary. We also saw Kaden and Katana absolutely freaking out backstage later because they won a title shot. And I was melting too. I was like, I'm sorry guys, of all the people that don't deserve one in terms of kayfabe, you're right in there. When Isla Dawn and Alba Fire kind of joined the party, and they agreed, Chance and Carter, I'm kidding you man, they lost their damn minds. It was like somebody had said, I'm really sorry, we have to kill you. They're like, how dare you say such a thing? And listen, I'm not gonna moan about this too much, because at least people are talking about the Women's Tag Team Championships. But this just all needs a little bit more direction. The stories need more focus, as I always tell you. Go and compare it to the other narratives on Raw, and it really is night and day, and they all deserve more. That kind of rhymed. Still getting it down. We then got a video for the last Monster Standing match, which was going to be the main event. I'm so damn excited. Big men slapping man meat. When we cut to Adam Pearce, who was with the security, and he went, listen, I want to make sure you guys don't let those two behemoths leave the ring. I was like, Adam, why would you book a last Monster Standing match and expect them to just hang out in the squared circle? I mean, that's stupid. This is when the Hell in a Cell started magically lowering to the ring, because why wouldn't you do that? As Adam Pearce stood in there, he was like, I think we should have CM Punk and Drew McIntyre have one last conversation. He was also like, you better not attack each other, because that will annoy me. So for the second time, I was like, Pearce, they hate each other, just don't book the segment. Stupid. I'm glad he did though, because once again, these two always hit it out the park. Drew McIntyre was wearing a black tuxedo because he was all like, I've worn this out of respect for your wife because I'm going to beat you so badly, she's going to have to take care of you until one day she leaves your ass altogether. Damn. It also means he'll be ready to celebrate when he does kick CM Punk out the WWE for good. And he just knows after Bad Blood, all the fans and people like Roxanne Perez, as we saw on NXT, will finally realize that CM Punk is nothing but a lying clown. He also basically threatened to kill CM Punk here, so bring it down. We go 1 on the crime counter when CM Punk responded in kind. He also kind of told a fib because he was like, well, they called me the voice of the voiceless, and it's true, I am voiceless. And he went on to say a lot of things. I was like, CM, come here. That's not what voiceless means. It's just so excellent though, because he was all like, listen, you've turned me into a boogeyman, and you have turned me into the person that all my critics accused me of being in the first place. And look, I've had to lock myself up in a hotel for the last 4 weeks, because I can't have my wife and family seeing me be like this. Now I want to make it very clear, Punk said this with so much damn G in his voice, it was good. I was also a bit like, dude, if you tell your other half, yeah, sorry babe, can't come home because I'm just gonna chill out in a hotel for 4 weeks, she's gonna think you banging someone else. Should have said it. They both did agree though that they had to become these evil versions of themselves in order to win the Hell in a Cell. When CM Punk was like, remember how you prayed for this? Well, I'm gonna have you on your knees, begging for mercy as blood pours down your face when I send you back to Scotland in a box. So bring it down. There's the crying counter. I don't think he's talking about sending presents. They also basically told each other they'll see them in hell. And look, just throw another one on the crime counter, because nearly every single thing they did say had some sort of crime behind it. But I cannot wait for this match. And there's a big debate out there right now. What should main event the pay-per-view premium live event? And I really do think it should be this. Listen, I'm not taking anything away from Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes teaming together. That's absolutely huge. But CM Punk and Drew McIntyre put the work in, and I think they deserve a pat on the back. I can't do that, but what I can do is give them a massive up. They have absolutely killed it. Somewhat literally. Kevin Kelly then asked Braun Strowman if he's ready for the last Monster Standing match. Braun heard the word trepidatious and he had no idea what that meant, but it doesn't matter because he's gonna win. This is when The Miz walked in too and he was like, listen Braun, you moron, I want to talk to you about what you did last week, but he couldn't get anywhere because R-Truth popped his head in instead. He's back. Now, seemingly Truth was crushed so much by Bronson Reed, he's totally forgotten about the 5 tsunamis, but he does not like how Karrion Kross has been talking to The Miz. So he has gone and booked them a match against AOP. I was like, man, these are all my jokes people are stealing. I doubt he got it from here, but I have called them AOP before, though I kind of call them Europe because I pushed the words together, or the letters together. Now, Miz didn't know what he was talking about, but of course, it was the AOP. They're going to write a brand new book. Sami Zayn then did a quick interview where he was like, yeah, I have been hurt by Gunther because I know how good I am. And every time he tells me no, I feel disrespected. Because deep down in his tootsie toes, he knows he has it in him to become the world champion. So he's going to sort this out later. Good for you. When we got the Judgment Day versus the LWO, which is the feud that will never die, and the LWO must have been talking to Rey Mysterio, because they did some dives when they too got hit by the most powerful force in all of sports entertainment, the commercial break. When we came back from the adverts, the Latino World Order was still in control. I tell something dodgy. Eventually, Joaquin Wilde decided, man, I've got power in my legs. He was going to jump around the place. And just when he was about to do something with agility, Liv Morgan kind of just looked at him in a funny way, and Wilde totally forgot he was in a wrestling match. I was like, Joaquin, whatever happens to you now is kind of on you. And yes, this is when Finn Balor ran to the ring and I was like, damn it, dude, you totally got me, which he did because I am a moron. And he basically went, see ya, pal, and he pushed him off the top rope, which is when JD McDonough hit his suplex thing to get the 1, 2, 3. And I was like, damn, McDonough got the pin. Doesn't happen very often. Finn Balor also cut a promo after this saying, well, Damian Priest, you tell me you want to rip my heart out. Well, you're screwed there because I don't have a heart. In one of these situations, I was like, Finn, come here. You do, dude, otherwise you'd be dead. He also wants to prove that he needed the Judgment Day more than the Judgment Day ever needed him. When Liv Morgan was like, man, I'm so happy to be a boyfriend stealer and a home wrecker. And I'm also the greatest women's champion ever. I was like, man, talk about confidence. This is when Rhea Ripley interrupted because her name had been said around about 422 times. She was like, I'll tell you a secret about Dominic Mysterio. He's a bit claustrophobic. He doesn't like being in shark cages. The last time he was in one, she basically told us he pooed his pants. Ripley's excited though because it means that Dommy is going to have the best seat in the house as she whips his new girlfriend's ass. Damian Priest must be a ghost. He just appeared in the ring and has been the way for a few weeks. Ripley and Damian just killed the Judgment Day. They would throw them into the shark cage, throw them into Barry Barricade, and they just find it very, very enjoyable. The problem was eventually Liv Morgan was trying to save Dommy Boy, and that's when Rhea kind of chased Morgan away, which meant Damian Priest was totally outnumbered, and Finn Balor hit 3 coups de grace. They kind of all danced around and going, ha ha ha, we got you. So I thought this was really good for a number of reasons. One, I'm sure Damian Priest will win at the weekend. When it comes to Rhea Ripley, well, I'm not so sure. We've kind of deliberately left it ambiguous. It also just has so much heat though, and people actually care because we invested the time, and I'm looking forward to both of these matches. Also, for the Judgment Day, the new Judgment Day, they never look dominating crew. Well, they've looked pretty dominating for the last few weeks. When we cut to Sheamus, who was doing an interview, and he indeed called Pete Dunne Butch, and also called him the loserweight. Now, of course, this is a play on words because he calls himself the bruiserweight. I was like, Sheamus, that one doesn't work. It just sounds like you're congratulating him because he was able to drop some pounds. Sheamus knows that Butch likes it rough though, which is why next week they're gonna have a good old Donnybrook. We've had a few of these in WWE, and I still don't really know what it means. but they're probably going to hit each other very hard with weapons. We zoomed over to Damage Control after this, who basically challenged Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill for the women's tag team titles, as Io Sky even said, Bianca, I beat you recently, and I know that's playing with your brain, and that's why we are going to win. When this New Day story just kept on giving. It's like Christmas time. But it was Chad Gable versus Kofi Kingston. They just had this amazing fight. You should go out of your way to see it. But at one point, you get Trouble in Paradise attempts, you get ankle lock attempts, but they just reverse and transition out of all of it. You also got this excellent DDT from Chad Gable, when eventually Kofi was like, American made, you're already pissing me off. And he did a big dive. Xavier Woods, who was out there, got a few shots in on Julius Creed. Now, because I guess he felt justified, as soon as everyone got back in the ring, Xavier Woods chipped Chad Gable. This turned out to be a terrible idea, because Kofi Kingston was about to hit Trouble in Paradise, but all of a sudden his target wasn't there. Ruh-roh. It also meant that instantly Chad was able to hit the Chaos Theory, and he got the 1, 2, 3. Understandably, Xavier was like, oh no, that didn't go well at all. And Kofi was like, why would you do that to me? You were meant to be my friend. So there was definitely tension there, and you could cut it with a knife, and it was not sexual. And honestly, when we get to the big hoo-ha with these two, it is going to make children cry, and I'm going to shed some tears as well. I just think it's so damn good. And this was another great finish. Giving it up. Also realised I totally forgot to mention that the reason Xavier Woods interfered is because Ivy Nile had done the same thing, so turnaround is fair play. And on that note, there was a few too many interruptions during this Raw, but given how they did use them in terms of the New Day, well, for this week only, I'm giving it a pass. Then we got a Bronson Reed interview where he was asked, Bronson, are you worried about Seth Rollins? I was like, you idiots, you gave it away. Reed absolutely does not care about Seth, and he even said something like, oh man, last time I took weeks off his career, and next time I meet him, I'm going to take weeks off his life. It's like, oh my gosh, it's the worst thing anyone has ever said. Bring down the crime counter. He also thinks he is going to be the last monster standing. When we did indeed get another Bray Wyatt video, so you know what we have to do. We see your intent, anger festering into rage. Do not go down this path! It ends in your demise. You know better. Do not force our hand. Ease our admiration. So maybe they're going to play Monopoly or something. We then learned that Ilya Dragunov very sadly got injured at the weekend during a house show match with Gunther and could be out for 9 months because he hurt his ACL. So man, yeah, all the positive thoughts to that guy. But actually, it was time for Gunther. And he loves being the champion because he's the top dog and he's rich and look at the shiny belt he has. But he will tell you what he doesn't like. Sami Zayn. He's the most annoying person ever. Now, as per Wrestling Rule 14.4, because his name had been said, Sami did walk to the ring. He's like, well, that's an easy fix. It's 2 + 2 = 4, my friend. There's no potatoes. Just accept the match, and it'll all be fine. Now, Gunther still responded by saying, you're not on my level, when Sami went back to WrestleMania 14. He was like, well, I beat you there, didn't I, dude? And it's kind of funny you don't talk about that a lot, because I think he's still getting in your head. So essentially, he thinks Gunther is scared, when the ring general was like, listen, I'm not scared, but I am afraid of my reputation, because you did beat me before and I was embarrassed. And I was so sure I was going to defeat you, I brought my entire family to WrestleMania, which means I had to look my daddy dad in the eye, and he looked at me like, you lost to that bum, and now they're totally estranged. I made that last bit up. Now, Sami can never understand this, because his family has seen him fail over and over. That's why, like, Gunther is one of the best characters in WWE. But Sam had a comeback. He was like, yeah, they had. But you know what I do? I never give up, and I never say no, and I'm always scratching and crawling. We can't say the same about you. You probably still too ashamed with your daddy. He also never asked for a rematch, which he also thought tied into father. That's when Gunther was like, right, that's it. And he totally destroyed this guy. Basically killed him with a bomb of power, and then went, all right, I accept. What? Now listen, this was a really good segment, and these two have such good chemistry. But if you are adamant that somebody is not going to get a match, and then they insult you, and you da-da, I don't think you're going to turn around and say yes. So essentially what WWE did here is they put themselves too hard into a corner, and they had these two guys play their roles so well, I don't think they could have come up with anything that actually would have justified the 180. So that's just a small thing for me, and I am going to give it a down. But we are getting the match on Raw, which is pretty damn exciting, and honestly, once again, these two are great together. They should probably get married. Give it up. When we got Awesome Truth versus AOP, and I'm just going to keep it nice and simple because it's all you need to know. R-Truth got beaten up for ages. He got the hot tag to The Miz, who was like, man, I ain't earning by the minute. He booted Truth. He left. Karrion Kross thought this was the funniest thing that's ever happened in the world when the AOP hit their What a Rush finisher, and they beat him. So R-Truth is screwed, The Miz is heel, now we can do The Miz versus R-Truth, and for some reason, I think that's great. I see people on the internet that don't like this. Well, I do, and I'm giving it up. This is when the whole Gunther Sami Zayn thing got even more confusing, because Braun Breaker found Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther backstage, and essentially, they are going to have a fight soon. Now, one, that basically tells you that Sami Zayn's not going to win. This WWE has tricked us all. But two, what is this weird thing about people losing the Intercontinental title and all of a sudden going after the World one? Well, to be fair, that did happen in the 90s a lot. We wait and see. When we got to our main event, which was Last Monster Standing, it went 20 minutes. I think it's the best damn thing I've ever seen in my life. Now, almost instantly, Braun Strowman was doing choke slam through Al in the announce table. Then there were a bunch of chairs, and Bronson Reeves was being thrown into them. When he was like, oh, good day, mate. And he picked up Braun and just DVD'd him into a bunch of wreckage. Honestly, I sat there, just thought I'm having the absolute best time. Of course, the whole time they kept trying to get up and beat the count of 10 when they went smashing through Barry Barricade with a big old tackle. When they did another one, and this time, they took out some fans. Now, of course, these were just plants. I don't mean things you grow in your garden. But security and WWE officials were so concerned, they ran down, was probably whispering, please don't sue us, we'll give you some free merchandise. Now, this is when Bronson was able to hit the tsunami, but there was no one there to count Braun Strowman down, to the point he went and did another one. Now, this didn't really go to plan, because the referee was meant to be like, oh no, the fans. But he was actually looking at one tsunami. When he went, oh no, I meant to be looking over here. So yeah, that bit fell apart. So I'll give it the tiniest of downs, but also we probably shouldn't. That brought me so much entertainment because it was so damn silly. Bronson Reed and Anna Pierce then got into it too, because Bronson was like, listen, you stupid bald idiot, I should have had this match won. And because they'd all clustered together, and it is 2024 wrestling, Braun Strowman did a dive off the top into all these people. Honestly, you have to go and watch the reaction to this. It was like everyone had been told they won the lottery. Quite understandably, they lost their damn heads. Reed then chucked a chair at Braun's head, because why wouldn't you do that when we got our big superplex spot and the ring exploded? And yes, people are going, oh, I knew they were going to do that. That's because we wanted it, damn it. If we had got through this Raw and I hadn't seen a ring gone boom, I'd have been a very upset man. But they were both dead, which is when Reed used Simba the Steel Steps to start climbing up, and he was about to win when, of course, Seth Rollins made his big return to Raw. He curb stomped Bronson's head right into this steel. He was dead. This is when Braun Strowman at like 9.99 was stood up, but man, he was punch drunk. But he still gets the win. It also turned out that was probably like at the count of 68, but honestly, if you have 19 minutes or so today, you need to go and watch this damn thing. It is so damn fun. As much as I like flippy dippy doo-dah wrestling, it was just such a treat to have an old school, you're a big guy, you're a big guy, go and crash into each other. Plus we got Seth Rollins back on the show, which I'm never going to be mad at. Getting it up. Which also brings us to the last 3-hour Raw of 2024. I'm sure it will go back in 2025, and I am giving it a humongous up. And it actually makes me think, you know what, if we do go back to 180 minutes, even though I much prefer 2 hours, I think I'll be okay. This was a great show. I think Bad Blood is probably going to be even better. Now, of course, please do leave me a comment below and let me know what you thought about last night's episode of Raw. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Click the video on the screen for more Simon Miller stupid content. But otherwise, my friends, have a good old time. Now, let's sleep. I'm hallucinating right now. Goodbye.